Hello, everybody. I'm Bob Sherman, and we're here at the intermission of Louisa Miller to talk about the opera, perhaps to talk about Verdi in general, with three of the artists who are making everything happen on stage and the man who's guiding the destinies from the podium. Next to me is Renata Scotto. Good to have you with us. Renata Scotto has performed 6 Verdi operas at the Metropolitan, which makes her rather the junior member here, because next to her we have Placido Domingo. And Placido has sung no less than 10 Verdi operas. Are you aware of that? Do you realize you've done that many?
Yes, I think so. Yes.
You've counted up. Next to Placido is Cheryl Milnes, and he's in a neck-and-neck tie, because also 10 for Cheryl, and between the two of them, because there's some that they haven't dovetailed, between the two, a total of 17 Verdi operas. And when we add James Levine to the picture, which we do now, welcome, Jim, we add up to 18, because you've conducted Falstaff that they haven't sung here at the house. Do you feel that there is some particular magnetism about Verdi that permits so many productions and makes them all viable and exciting?
Bob, to really do justice to that, I'd need hours and hours, because of course Verdi accounts for about, 70 or 80%, I suppose, of the singer's repertoire.
Maestro, but I think also it's the society that in that period has very important. I think it's very important for Verdi to show how that period has. In all the Verdi opera, there is a mention to the society, the
Absolutely.
rich,
Oppression,
the oppression to the
nobility
rich.
against the common.
Well, there's no
to the
question
poor.
that Verdi was always most fascinated
Yes.
by plots where he could, by subjects where he could work love interests into conflict with social, religious, political pressures, and of course, Luisa Miller is full
Miller
of that.
is
His
one.
own favorite operas among his operas were always those in which those conflicts attained incredible proportions, and so that he could keep very intense dramatic situations.
What makes a part difficult? Is it the range? Is it the extent of the role? Is it the dramatic involvement? What is it?
Everything
Yes.
together. You have, I mean, I speak for myself. I have a coloratura, I have expression, I have the character, the dramatic, a tessitura, high and low. So you have you need a technique to sing, almost a perfect technique to sing this. Music.
Placido, what's
Well,
your problem?
It all depends, and I don't remember the aria because I forgot the words. It's, Quando le cereal.
Placido.
Well, no, the thing is, as Renata said, it depends. In different operas, it might be the length, it might be the tessiture in a certain moment, it might be just not to have the right time to breathe in between one place and the other. For instance, one of the most difficult spots in the Luisa Miller, almost nobody realizes, and is the duet with the Federica in the second scene. Mm-hmm. It's a tremendous tessiture, which is perhaps is not high, it doesn't have any spectacular high notes in it, but it is just a tessiture which you are
And it
singing
must also be
constantly in the
netto
passaggio.
forte.
These Verdi roles require of a singer that they be, in a way, 4 or 5 different singers. I mean, some singers have by nature an easier time with very dramatic passages. Other singers by nature an easier time with lyric passages, or high passages, or low passages, or coloratura, or whatever. But when you get a big Verdi role that has all of this, and you're a single human singer, it's, you know, to keep all of this in balance and act the dramatic elements too, that presents a pretty large density of difficulty.
So the only person who's having an easy time of it is you, right?
I won't say a word about that, Bob, not a word.
Well, wait a second. Cheryl, he's explained what you have to go through. What does the conductor have to do except not lose his place and things like that?
To keep the singer.
Well, Cheryl can tell you.
As we know for Jim, just keeping his place is very difficult.
I wouldn't like to be.
I'll just to go on about the aria difficulty, because we've all spoken of things that are true of everybody's roles, but and Placido mentioned a little bit in both the aria Cabaletta Sacra, La Scelta, and A fu giusto, there's no place to breathe. You have to cheat from the last note of a phrase, cut it, sing it half as long in order to have enough time to take a breath. You just sing, breathe, sing, breathe, sing, breathe, sing, breathe, sing, breathe.
Which brings me to a conductor difficulty. If the conductor takes the tempo of an aria like that, one fraction too slow,
That's absolutely
the phrases are too long for the singer to be comfortable. One fraction too fast, and there's not enough time in those little spaces to grab
Because
a
the
breath.
rest gets smaller
That's right.
as you go
Well,
faster.
now,
Yeah.
just a moment. If that were true, Jim, every performance of Louisa Miller would be metronomically precise.
No,
It can't
Bob,
be.
because first of all, a singer is different from day to day, right? On one day, a singer has a little more breath. On another day, a little less. A singer is a little more tired. A singer has a little more energy. Also, all singers are different, and these, and so are, you know, all questions of where you're going to make a little rubato, where you're going to make a little accelerando, so that there are plenty of variables. I'm only speaking that there's a certain range.
It's the matter to have a great conductor because you
Well,
have to understand all those
I
things.
think the
And few, as a maestro, it is that they can understand.
The phrase that covers what Jim has, I think, perhaps better than anyone else's, is radar,
Yeah.
to determine all the things he just was talking about. Because that's feeling across about, what, 30 feet
And
or
also-
40 feet.
And also determine it, as you said, every night different, and he immediately knows, immediately notices.
Yes.
It's enough few phrases he
Are you
can
blushing?
immediately judge if he can just go.
I had this vision of Jim going around with a little notebook. How much sleep did you get last night?
You can tell right away.
No, you don't have to ask because he knows. He's watching the face. He knows if you don't sleep.
Well, we live more or less in the theater these days, so he knows our movements.
How important is it that there be an ensemble spirit? You have all worked together in various operas. You know each other.
I think, Bob, it helps everything.
Yeah.
It's not only to know each other the way we do, but it's to have the trust that we have of one another and to have the rapport that we have. It means that each project we do, we have the possibility to help each other's growth. We have the possibility, you know, not to have to worry about getting that rapport, getting comfortable enough, understanding what the other person's going to do, which can take an enormous amount of time when you work with a lot of different people to get enough rapport to produce an ensemble. One of the things that has been very fortunate for us is to do a lot of work together, which has allowed our ensemble to get, I think, always stronger and better.
Quicker communication between
Oh, yeah.
conductor and artist and between artists. We don't have to
It's much
explain
better to
long
know.
things. A couple of phrases and, right, what we
Right.
did there, a little quicker. Don't forget this. and-
Perhaps I know Cheryl so well that when I was rehearsing for myself the duet, and it's very difficult duet musically, and I could hear him sing. And I said, I can do this because Sherry will sing like this. So it's, if we don't, it's the same as with Placido.
And it's
I know,
also-
I can hear when
It also brings you the best, you know, when you are singing often with people, and besides them, we are very good friends, you know. I consider them, they are great artists. All. It brings the best of you. It gives you an inspiration.
When a character in an opera is on stage, silent, while another character is singing a long aria, what actually are you thinking about?
the role, the character. So I'm listening if I'm on stage when
You're listening in character as
Of
that
course,
person
of
would listen.
course.
In fact, Bob,
That
I think
is
if
very
you don't,
important.
it affects the
If
way
you
the
don't-
audience concentrates. I think,
Yes,
you know,
of
every singer is
course.
aware of that, and since they also want the
How
the
can I,
audience
when we have a duet with Cheryl, he sings an aria. It's not really an aria, I mean, because then go in a duet, and he sing long. So how can I be myself and look to or think of something? No, I think of him. He's my father, and I listen what he sing.
Well,
Even if he sing for 10 minutes.
we have to think
Even if I
only,
sing badly.
we have to think always just like in terms of a straight drama. It's the conversation that is taking place. So you are supposed to be listening and reacting to that, you know.
If you see that one of your singers is in trouble, what can you do? You can't call out instructions to him. You can't, what do you do?
No, but you can do quite a lot. You can, as long as you have that kind of invisible bond. You know, as long as you are concentrating on the singer and the singer is concentrating back, it's amazing what you can do. I mean, of course, there is a distance, and you're absolutely right. That is a technical hurdle that always has to be overcome. But the more you work with singers and the more you know their special, you know, characteristics and details, and they know yours, the more you can deal with that.
I can see everything from your eyes. When you look at me, I can understand everything you want.
Well, and mechanical things. Tempi can move a little bit.
Right.
If somebody is tired and high notes are a little labored, you move over them more quickly. A little longer for breath time. Those are the kinds of things that
And
Jim will
between
feel.
all of our performances, you see, we always try to analyze a little bit the details from the previous performance where we thought, you know, maybe something wasn't dramatic enough, or maybe a pause was too much, or not enough, and keep trying to make it better. And therefore, we have the pleasure that in a run of performances, we get a little bit closer to that elusive goal that we're after.
Well, it's time for us to go back to Luisa Miller. So just a word of thank you to our 4 illustrious Metropolitan performers, Renata Scotto, Placido Domingo, Cheryl Milnes, and James Levine. I'm Bob Sherman. Thank you very much.